You already have your NFT Collection Smart Contract. You already deploy your NFTs. You have the collection running on a blockchain. You want to enable staking on your collection, but it's already deployed. How do I do that? I got you. This video has been requested by a couple of our viewers who have been commenting on the videos in regards to how do I enable staking if I already have the NFT Collection Smart Contract deployed. In this video, I am going to show you how can we do that. And as a matter of fact, the collection that sold smart contract that I have on the NFT staking smart contract referenced doesn't necessarily mean that you need to deploy a brand new contract to make this happen. No, what I'm actually doing is that on that collection that sold smart contract, I am calling certain functions that I require on the staking smart contract. In essence, all we have to do is call natively certain OpenZeppelin contracts that will provide the functions that the staking smart contract requires to perform the calls, or in this case, to perform the actions on the vault contract, okay? So I can go two ways. I can go two ways of showing you how to do this. I can literally show you exactly what you need to change and call it a day. But that's not what I want. I want you to learn how to deploy Solidity smart contracts. I want you to become familiar so then you can figure out things on your own. Oh, now I know how this works because this is needed. I don't have that anywhere in my contract imports in the Solidity code. So that means that it's missing. Oh, so let me find where that particular action or variable is located in the OpenZeppelin contract so then I can natively import it. So that's what we want. I want to teach you how to see that interacting with a Solidity smart contract, it's not that hard as it may look. It requires a lot of time, a lot of dedication in order for you to learn it. But once you understand the logic behind how everything connects, interfaces, utilities, and such, then you're going to start realizing, hey, if this is missing, it means that I'm probably not importing a particular contract file, so it can use that function out of that particular contract. And this is what we want to see. So what I'm going to do in the video, yes, we are going to modify the NFT staking smart contract. So instead of me calling a particular collection smart contract that I already minted, I am just going to call the functions and the interfaces, okay? So if you're wondering, you already have your NFT smart contract deployed. You already deploy your art, you deploy your collections, users are holding those NFTs. Now you want to give them the opportunity to stake them. Yes, let's go ahead and fix that, or at least let's go and provide what we need on the staking smart contract to make that happen. But again, there's two things that I would say I am 99% or if not 100% that you already deployed, because those particular functions on the NFT smart contract are mandatory for us to enable staking, okay? And probably, I think probably not. I'm pretty sure that you do have them already on the smart contract, and one of them will be the ERC-721 receiver. This is the interface receiver of ERC-721. In a nutshell, what it does, allows you to do the transfer from, safe transfer from, and allows you to move NFTs from wallets or from contracts to other contracts. So that interface is required, and you need that. And the NFT Collection Smart Contract, you need that interface, because else you're not going to be able to move NFTs from a smart contract to another wallet, or users will like to transfer between wallets those NFTs. If you don't have that, it's not going to work. And as a matter of fact, that's mandatory, okay? And the other thing that it's required is the ERC-721 enumerable, which gives you certain tools that we need in order for us to properly add token ID, list how many NFTs are sold, get the total supply and such, because the staking smart contract requires also those tools so it can execute the actions that we already coded in that smart contract, okay? And the only thing that the collection.sol file is doing, it's giving you those actions, but it also does have an NFT smart contract that you can use to deploy your own NFT collection if you don't have anything, right? But if you already have your NFT collection deployed, this video is going to show you what we need to do to the staking smart contract to allow that NFT collection that is already running on the blockchain to allow staking capabilities and provide that feature to your NFT holders, okay? So let's go ahead. Let's jump right in and let's take a look and see how that's done, okay? We're going to, on purpose, we're going to break the staking smart contract by removing the collections. We'll try to compile, then we're going to see what is going to be missing. So then we can start looking in OpenZeppelin and seeing, okay, well, it's asking me for this. Let me see in OpenZeppelin which smart contract does have that particular function. And then we can just import that contract into the staking smart contract, and that should take care of the issue. Actually, there's only two contracts that we have to deploy: the ERC-721 receiver and the ERC-721 enumerable, okay? So those are the only two that we just need to replace on the staking smart contract to allow the staking to happen. But let's go ahead, let's take a look, and this will open you to understanding a lot more about how smart contracts interact between each other. And there's a reason why you have a lot of imports on the top of your smart contract. It's because those are functions that we need to invoke in order for us to call what we're coding down in the staking smart contract, okay? So let's go ahead, let's jump right in and let's make this work. Alrighty, let's go and let's continue this party. Okay, so let's bring the NFT staking smart contract and let's break it out. Let's remove the collection.sol import and let's see what will happen when I try to compile it, and we will fix that by just invoking what we need from an OpenZeppelin contract standpoint, okay? Let's go. First thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to GitHub and I am going to find the version 2, by the way. Use version 2 because this one does have the new reward calculations that I did for the ERC-20 token rewards, okay? So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go to raw, all, use right click, select all, copy. Let's go to Remix. We're going to make a new file, NFT, and enter, paste, and let's go here. Let me go all the way to the top, and we're gonna break this thing by removing the collection.sol, because what we're doing is just not using the collection.sol import, but it's literally the same thing. I just want to show you how you can bring your own NFT smart contract, but at the end you can do it even with collection.sol, okay? So we have removed the import. Let's try to compile and see the errors, okay? Let me expand this a little bit more. Okay, great. It's on 4. I'm gonna compile. Let's see the errors. Okay, the first thing that it's popping right away: identifier not found or not unique. Why this is not found? Because I haven't imported the contract that does have this particular interface. Everything that starts with an I is a contract interface that allows me to talk to different functions in that particular contract, okay? So I am not importing that, which means that I have to find that particular contract and import that because I need this. And probably this particular action is used all the way at the end. So if we go all the way to the end, it's expecting me to call this particular interface so that we can call the function and do what we need to do, okay? So with that said, what I need to do, let me go up, is we probably have to just import that one. And how do we know or where this is located? OpenZeppelin has its own repo. So what we can do, let me see the one that was able to compile. One thing that I also want to talk about is the moment I called this or compile this particular contract, it actually called this contract and also compile, which in that case, it actually compiled more things, because if inside this contract I have other imports, it's going to also continue importing whatever. So this probably ERC-20 that was compiled, ERC-20, IERC, the interface, it probably is being called inside this particular contract. Okay, so this is how everything compiles. So the issue that we're facing is because there is nowhere, we haven't compiled or we haven't imported any contract that has this particular function or interface in this case. So what I have to do is just go to OpenZeppelin, right? One way it's go OpenZeppelin, in this case interfaces, okay? That's one way of doing it. But then right now we can see that all my interfaces in the OpenZeppelin contract, and by the way, this is an open source contract to develop for the Ethereum blockchain. So this is basically how you build contracts. You use OpenZeppelin and you call the functions, the tools, the utilities, the interfaces, etc. Okay, so in this case, we're looking for this one. So if we go to ERC-721 receiver, guess what? By just importing this, I get that function. All we need, okay? Because this is missing. So let's go ahead and copy, go back to Remix, paste it, and I bet if I compile again, I'm not gonna run into that particular error. Probably something else. Let's compile it, and sure enough, we already resolved that issue. There you go. You see, compiling or building smart contracts in Ethereum, it's all a matter of reading the error messages. Yeah, basically it's telling, hey, I cannot find ERC-721 receiver. Well, guess what? It probably is not being imported. Okay, so let's just continue the show here. Now let's see what we're missing. Oh, this is quite easy to understand. Okay, we are missing collection NFT. Okay, which means that, of course, because we no longer imported collection.sol, we're no longer importing that. Okay, so what we need to do instead, we have to probably call whatever this action is calling. Okay, or this action is requiring, or this variable is requiring. So let's see, this is going to be slightly different than ERC-721 because it literally told us that we were missing that. Okay, so that said, one thing that this particular variable, this is, by the way, this is how you reverse engineer a contract. You know, let's see. Okay, because I am missing collection. Now let's see what is this. This is basically a reference from this particular smart contract into this variable, so then I can start calling that on my functions. Okay. One thing that NFT, which is the reference to collection, it's looking for its owner of. So let's find what owner of is and in which smart contract do we have that function. Let's copy and let's go back to OpenZeppelin. Owner of, there you go. Well, guess what? ERC-721 does have owner of. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. But another way of doing it, it's probably looking at this smart contract and seeing what it's also invoking. Okay, so what I can do, I can go to GitHub for the contracts, to OpenZeppelin and GitHub. Let me open OpenZeppelin contracts. Now let's go to contracts. Okay, let's go to token. And we said that the owner of was under ERC-721. Okay, so let's go ERC-721 and we see ERC-721. Okay, let's open that and see what else is being called. Okay, so ERC-721 is calling ERC-165, which is basically, it's an interface that lists and calls certain actions for the smart contract. Okay, one of those actions, guess what? Very important, save transfer from. That allows you to move assets from wallet to wallet or contract to wallet and such. Okay, so with that said, what I want to do now, I want to take a look and see ERC-721 receiver, what is actually opening. So the only thing that is looking for, it's basically this, or this is the only thing that is invoking. Okay, but another thing that we can find and see what else is dependent for this one. So let me go here. So right now it's saying collection, it's not unique. Let's do one thing. Let's go ahead. If we know the owner of it's under this, let's go ahead and import this. Okay. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to paste it below. Then I'm going to compile and see what errors shows up. Obviously, what it's going to show is collection because there's no reference for collection. So what we need to do, we need to call this instead of collection, because that will be now our new file, ERC-721. Okay, try to compile. Now it's saying, oh, of course, every reference for collection has to be replaced. This is replaced. And let's see, I think that's about it. Let's try it again. Boom, we removed those errors out of the picture. Awesome, so let's see what else is missing. The same NFT, remember that we remediated owner of, but now we need probably total supply. And total supply, it's not inside. You can see it right here. This particular member, it's not inside ERC-721, which means that the one that I imported does not have total supply, okay? We now need to find out where that is. Guess what? Copy. It's total supply. Let me just copy this, or we can copy the whole thing. All right. Google, total supply. And I think it's here. Okay. ERC-721, control find, total supply. Oh, interface. ERC-721 enumerable. And guess what? Enumerable is what? It's literally counting, or it's literally indexing based on the amount of assets, or in this case, amount of tokens. It's basically a way to count in smart contracts. It's how you count assets, token IDs, range of IDs, etc. So in this case, we have to probably call this, but here's the catch. This probably also needs another thing. So what we need to do, let's go to ERC-721. If you can see here, if we can click here, then that is basically the options that we have. And let's see, there's probably a contract for this one. Let me go to GitHub. Let me go to contracts. Let me go to tokens, ERC-721, extensions, and ERC enumerable. Okay, let's open this one. And now that one, it's calling ERC-721, which we already have. Okay, we do already have that. The only difference is that this does have total supply. This is not an NFT smart contract itself. This is just an interface to talk to the smart contract. We want to call anything that has to do with the NFT smart contract inside this particular function, but this is an interface. This is not an actual smart contract. This is just an interface. So we need the base ERC-721 smart contract, and it's expecting us to be enumerable, right? Because it needs to count. It needs to be able to get us the total supply, because we are using the total supply in the staking vault, okay? So with that said, we need to import the base ERC-721 enumerable smart contract, which will have the interfaces, will have the total supply, will have everything that we need. Remember, I cannot reference an interface. I have to reference an actual NFT token smart contract, not the interface. Okay. Probably when we import the token smart contract, we are importing the interfaces as well, because the smart contract will probably need those interfaces. So why we just import the base smart contract. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that. With that said, remember, it's interface, but we need the ERC-721 enumerable without the I. And probably inside there, we will have the ERC-721, we will have the ERC-721 enumerable, we'll have all the interfaces. So why need to call and call and call if we just need to import one single contract, and that contract will give us all the functions that we need, okay? So let's go back. And that's case, I am going to OpenZeppelin contracts, okay? And then we're going to go to the token. We're going to go to ERC-721. And we will go to extensions and enumerable. Here we go. This is the one we need, okay? So we know the full path. ERC-721 extensions, and then the name, it's ERC-721 enumerable. So guess what? We just need to do this. We need to call this extensions / and then let's remove this. Okay, that's it. So this is the full path. Let's go back and confirm. We got contracts, token, ERC-721, extension, and the file. Let's go back. Contracts, token, ERC-721, extension, and the file. So we know we are going to be able to import this successfully. And if we look at the contract, one last thing that I want to do before we recompile. There you go. It's actually calling the token itself, and it's calling the ERC-721 enumerable.sol. I bet if we go to ERC-721 enumerable.sol, it's going to import ERC-721. So let's do that. Let's go back to extensions. ERC enumerable. Guess what? ERC-721. So you see, you don't need to import all of it. You just need to import the base contract, and that base contract will import the interfaces, which probably that interface will import another interface. It's just gonna keep nesting imports. So you don't need to import all of it. You probably have to import one base, and that base will import everything else, okay? So with that said, we now can go ahead and see if we get rid of this issue. Let's go and recompile, and we still have an issue, and the issue is total supply not found. Oh, yes, guess what? I haven't fixed this. Let's go and reference the right contract here, okay? So this, instead of ERC-721, we are just going to call this right here. So let me copy ERC-721 enumerable, right? And here, enumerable. And now it's being referenced to NFT. Now let's give it a shot and see how that goes. Here we go. Boom! Woohoo! There you go. Awesome. We have effectively removed the collections.sol, which again, guys, it's literally doing the same thing. The only difference is we're not calling a particular NFT smart contract. But again, this is literally the same thing. Okay. Yeah. And now if we go to deploy, I can actually go and deploy this, and it's just going to ask me for that, your NFT collection. So if you already deploy your NFT collection, you just want to enable staking, just need to populate that field with your NFT smart contract already deployed. Make sure that you mint the end to the reward smart contract, or in this case, deploy that smart contract. So then you have that address. Let's say, I'm going to deploy it right now. You have that address. Now you can go ahead under staking, make sure that this maps to the end to the rewards. And then the NFT will be your existing ERC-721 Collection Smart Contract. So make sure it's only ERC-721 because it's only applicable to ERC-721. What I'm going to do on the next video, on an upcoming video, I'm going to do this for ERC-1155. Ooh, so we now have both options. We can do it 1155 or we can do it ERC-721. Okay. Alrighty, and that's it. Put your NFT address, transact, and boom, you got staking enabled for your existing ERC-721 NFT Collection Smart Contract. Boom. Solidity smart contract, understanding Solidity and how Ethereum smart contracts interacts or connects between each other. You see, it's not that hard. I probably need to invoke another smart contract in order for me to import that particular function so that I can call it and use it on the code that I am building my staking smart contract or any other smart contract, okay? So it's all a matter of connecting the dots, okay? So if you build a smart contract from scratch and you don't want to import absolutely anything, then you have to probably copy and paste that particular function that you need from the other smart contract and import that into your own smart contract. So then it can call it and it can find, oh yeah, this is the function, this is what it does. Okay, perfect, now let me use it. But else, doing imports and just writing what you need to write so the actions execute, it's way better because it makes the smart contract a little bit shorter, more cleaner, more easy to understand, okay? And this is why we do that, okay? Alrighty, so that's it for this video. I hope you liked this video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to, and we'll see you on the next video. Of course. Bye.